Alaikum everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Niqabi Faz. We're sitting outside in the garden today. It's super windy, but I really just wanted to be like in nature amongst the plants and stuff. So yeah, if it seems like I'm trying to compete with the wind, it's literally because the wind is just so loud. So yeah, but yeah, so one of the things I wanted to share today is just some insights around what I do on a daily basis to set my day up to win. And I know that sounds like a really catchy catchphrase, and you're probably thinking, what does that really even mean? But as an individual, I really pride myself on wanting to live the best quality of life that I possibly can. And for me, that means being super present in situations, you know, having the right psychology when I try and, you know, kind of tackle the challenges that life, you know, poses us, and also really just like be. And that doesn't mean obviously that I'm super happy all the time, but what it does mean is that I allow myself to feel emotions, but I don't stay in that state for a very long time. And the reason is because, you know what, life is short and challenges are always going to be there, and they can either overwhelm you, or they can control you, and they can dictate the quality of life that you have, or they can be kind of stepping stones, and they can be what their real purpose is. And the real purpose of the test that we face in life is to drive us back to our Creator. So ultimately, if we see it in that way, we can either understand it in that way, or we can be, as many of us are, and I certainly been through that in my life, where we become completely incapacitated, not decapacitated, incapacitated, you know, by the challenges that we face. So of late, and of late means probably the last few months, and even in the last few months, I've faced really hectic challenges. But one of the things that I've realized is that the most important aspect, or the most important part of my day, is in the morning. And the mornings are so important because they set my day up. And ultimately what I want is, I want to set my day up to win. And so I want to just chat you through and take you through what setting up, you know, sort of my day to win actually entails. So Fajr at this time of the years, you know, about 4 o'clock, and so I try and get up about 30 minutes before that. And in that first few minutes that I wake up, you know, one of the first things I do is I thank my Creator, you know, for being able to wake up another day, to be able to be alive, and to be able to spend another day with my friends and family and doing what I love. And the next aspect that I do is I marvel at the fact that I can see. I look around me and I still, you know, I see things, see my, you know, my beloved, you know, so I give thanks for my ability to see. And then I listen to this wind, which even today is super hectic, but the beautiful ni'mah of being able to hear, like on cue, I tell you, on cue. But the beautiful just blessing of being able to hear the wind. And so in that first few minutes after waking up, I just give thanks. And then I get up, and I even give thanks just, you know, I'm able to go to the bathroom, I'm able to have a bathroom. Anyway, and then I, you know, get ready to take ablution, and I get ready to pray Fajr prayers. And then after I do that, I just take a few moments, like just a few moments, and just reflect. Reflect on everything that I have to be grateful for. I reflect upon the fact that I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be a Muslim. I'm so grateful for my iman. I'm so grateful for the knowledge that I have, and the fact that I am still striving to have more knowledge and to gain more sacred knowledge. And then I start to think about the people in my life that I'm grateful for, and I start to name them, and I start to name the things about them that I'm grateful for, what they bring to my life, what they add to my life. And it's just it's that whole experience. It just sets you and puts you in a state, right? It's state of gratefulness. And for those who know how it feels to be grateful, the reality is you can create that state every morning. Because when you're in the state of gratefulness, what you do is you put everything in your life in perspective. And that's ultimately what we need to do. We need to put the sad, the bad, the difficult in perspective. Even, for example, when people in our lives, people that we love and they care about, they disappoint us. And that's going to happen. That's part of life. That we ultimately see it in the bigger picture, but we don't just see the disappointment and what they've done, but we ultimately see them as an individual, a holistic whole, because we understand what we're grateful for them, about them, what about them you're grateful for. And yeah, and I think that's ultimately what one wants to do. So anyway, and then after that I get walking. Now obviously 4:30 in the morning is really not the time for a woman in South Africa to go outside and walk. But for me, being physically active is so important. It's so important for my mental state. It's so important just to get me juiced for the day. And so one of the things that I do is I put on this walking program on YouTube. I'll drop the link below. It's with Leslie, and it's just such an amazing program. You get 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers in the morning. Just through walking, and you start to feel really, really great. And while I'm walking, one of the things that I really do is I start to think about everything that I want to achieve that particular day, and I see it as if it's done. I feel like it's done. I give thanks for it. I'm like, yes, it's done. And I give thanks to our Creator, for being able to grant me that. And one of the reasons why I do that is because the mind really doesn't know the difference between what you've already done and what you visualize yourself to do. And for me, that really, really, really helps, because if you look at any athlete, like a long jump athlete or a high jump athlete, they'll always tell you the really successful jumps, the jumps that they do really well, they've visualized it. They've seen themselves achieve it and do it, and they've taken themselves through every single step to be able to achieve that. And so obviously if you do that in your everyday life, basically it doesn't mean that everything in that day is going to go 100% perfect. But it does mean that that day is going to be so much better than if you didn't set it up to win. So yeah, so that's kind of my morning. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour. You can compress this into 30 minutes, into 15 minutes. But for me, between 30 minutes and an hour is a really good investment for the rest of my 24 hours. And for me, that's what's ultimately important. I want to set my day up to win. I want to have the best quality of life that I can. I want to be present with the people that I love. And I want to really do and achieve the things that I want to do. And moreover, I want to be ready and able to tackle the tests that our Creator, sends my way. And I want to be able to do it in a way that, it does actually draw me closer to Him. So yeah, that's just my little check-in our garden on this super windy day. If you really like the content, please subscribe and like the page. And yeah, I'll see you next week for some more insights. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.